Coach Thomas, as you recall the last game against VCU, the Spiders had a little difficulty generating a flowing offense and sustaining it. How do you think that can change tomorrow night? What tweaks have you made to hopefully get through that sticky defense?
I think one of our biggest issues, and this is something that VCU does really well, was we had 16 turnovers in the last game. And those didn't necessarily come in the backcourt against the pressure, but came more in the half court. And anytime you have, that would have been 14 turnovers in the half court, anytime you turn the ball over that much, it's going to be tough to get any kind of rhythm. So that's one thing that we're really trying to concentrate on, is making sure we take care of the ball. We've done a really good job of that overall in conference, and that'll be the first step to making sure we get good shots tomorrow.
In general, have you addressed anything that would help Richmond perform more successfully away from the Robbins Center?
We've talked a lot about just concentrating on ourselves. The things that we do well when we win have to show up whether we're at home or on the road. We've been in a lot of games on the road and have had stretches where we kind of let games get away from us. So I think consistency is going to be the main theme for tomorrow, and on the road in general. We have to play well for 40 minutes. I think we've been able to do that better at home this year, and I don't think there's any magic formula for playing better on the road. You just have to be tough enough to stay consistent when things inevitably are harder on the road. The crowd's against you. You may have, your shots don't go in maybe like they will at home. For whatever reason that is, teams don't shoot as well on the road oftentimes, and you have to find kind of a new way to stay consistent and fight through some of the adversity that you do face on the road.
17 of 37 from three. Would you be surprised if that sort of thing repeated itself, or you're okay with taking that many, and obviously you're fine with making that many?
If I could dial up 17 made threes for tomorrow, I certainly would. I think the number of threes we take is more on a game-to-game basis. I think in the St. Louis game, they were going under every ball screen. They really packed the paint on us, and I think they forced us into shooting those threes. Like we said in that game, I thought we settled for threes a little bit too much early in the game. And I thought we did a better job as the game went along attacking. I think they play defense completely differently than St. Louis, so I wouldn't anticipate us shooting 37 threes tomorrow night. But at the same time, if those happen to be the right shots in the game, the number isn't necessarily something that we're concerned with.
Overall, what have you changed with this operation, if anything? Or have you just stayed on the same path Chris was following in terms of preparation, routine, execution during the game, in terms of communication between coaches and players?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we've changed, had any wholesale changes of anything. Coach Mooney has laid an unbelievable foundation for the program that it's been built on for the last 18 years, had tons of success. We're deep into the season, and the guys are in a rhythm of preparing for games and in a rhythm of how we practice. So none of those things have changed. I think the thing that our staff has tried to do in Coach Mooney's absence is just to try to be really positive with the team, and try to just bring as much energy as we can. Without his voice at practice, without his voice in the games, there's definitely been a change. And our main focus has just been to try to stay positive and to bring the energy in practice and try to be we were successful on Tuesday, just trying to stay poised in the big moments, hopefully.
Hey, lastly, for me, in terms of recruiting, I sort of suggested this the other day, is there something you're going to do with your staff that the NCAA will allow you to do in Chris's absence to be at full strength when you're looking for players.
We will. The NCAA does allow you to elevate somebody when there's a coach who could usually be on the road, off the road. So we will be able to do that, and so we will be at full strength having 4 coaches on the road in the spring term when we're going out and recruiting, and certainly when we're when the time comes to get guys on campus this spring.
Who will you elevate?
At this time, I think it'll be Mark McGonigal. He's been here a long time. He played here, and he he'll do a great job.
Thank you.
In terms of game management as a staff, any hiccups Tuesday night that you can iron out moving forward, or did it go about as well as it could have, in terms of just managing the game, making decisions, things like that?
It went well. There's always going to be, and we talk about this when Coach is here, and we'll certainly talk about that as we are starting to figure things out. I thought we did a really good job of just coming together as a staff and talking about what we wanted to do as far as substitutions and how we wanted to change defense or any tweaks we were going to make, and just talking about play calls we wanted to make. Coach Mooney is excellent at doing all those things and can often make those decisions on the fly and on his own. And one thing I wanted to make sure of is that we kind of slowed down a little bit and just talked as a staff to make sure we were on the same page. And I thought we did a really good job of that on Tuesday night. And I think that'll be really important going into Friday, especially in a hostile environment. How
much easier, if you can use that term, will it be going into this particular game, having won Tuesday night? I got to believe as a staff you'd probably have slightly different emotions if you had dropped Tuesday night going across town to play VCU.
I think that the biggest thing we took from Tuesday is the belief that we can win. I don't think anybody knew exactly what it was going to look like without Coach Mooney on the floor, and I think getting a win on Tuesday was really, really important for the confidence of the guys, to know that we are a good team. Although we don't have our leader and Coach Mooney, all the same guys are out there playing defense. All the same guys are out there making the plays. All the same guys are out there, getting the open shots. So I think just the belief is there because we were able to win a game against a very good team on Tuesday, and I think that certainly helps with the confidence moving into this game. How much different is this VCU team just from the first time you played them? They've gone through several late game situations where they've gutted out wins, even away from home, that maybe a younger, less experienced team wouldn't have gotten. How are they different from just when you played them here? I don't know that they're fundamentally that much different than when we played them here, but that's part of the reason they're sitting at the top of the conference. They've figured out a way to win a lot of close games, and when you do that, I think that builds a confidence that when you get in those situations that you look around and they expect to win, and I think that is really what has kind of helped them through this year. But they're just really good defensive team. They're one of the top defensive teams in the country. They really turn teams over, and they feed off those turnovers and turn that into transition. But as far as being fundamentally different from when we played them before, it's probably just more experience in those situations. But we also have those experiences where we've been able to win a few close games and played some more teams. And as you go through the Atlantic 10, you play all the different styles of teams you're going to play, and you just become more comfortable with the different looks you see, whether that's somebody playing zone or somebody playing pressure defense or different ball screens coverages you might see. And so they've gained that experience, but we have as well.
Tyler, you now have 40 minutes of without Coach Mooney, and have a feel for what it's like. What is it like in a different way?
Yeah, it's a lot different. The team dynamic is a little different, but it's a positive. It brings us closer together. It gives us more to fight for, and just having that in the back of our minds is a really positive thing we can focus on in the huddles and as a team and a group together.
You were disappointed in your last game against VCU with turnovers, and the Spiders had 16 of them. How does that change? They're playing the same defense, and they're going to get after you in the same way as you know they are.
Yeah, you live and you learn, like we did last game, and I think last game was a great learning experience for us. The outcome wasn't what we wanted, but now we know what to expect. We know what the pressure's going to be like, so we just have to go out there, take care of the basketball, and perform.
In general, what needs to improve for Richmond to be better away from the Robins Center, where you've been good?
Yeah, just keeping our own energy as a group and just staying focused on us and us only. Not worried about the crowd, not worried about the other team, what's going on with the referees or whatever that may be. Just focus on what we need to do and accomplishing the task at hand.
It's still possible that Richmond could play on that Tuesday at the A-10 tournament or later. How much of that is factoring into your motivation and thought process?
Maybe a little bit, but the real task at hand is just VCU tomorrow.
And speaking of that, will that be your last game at VCU? Have you determined whether you would consider strongly coming back next year or not?
I have not yet. I haven't given it much thought.
Thank you.
Coach Thomas said that Tuesday was important for you guys to know that you can win after Coach Mooney left. Your own personal confidence aside, how right was he about that, and how good did it feel to have that kind of small vindication?
It felt great, and it proved that we can do it. The only thing I would say is that just because we're playing for Coach Mooney and we have that chip on our shoulder doesn't mean that we're going to come out and perform tomorrow. We still have to lock in today at practice and get ready to go tomorrow.
We would ask this question of coaches all the time, but as a player, do you feel you have a bit of an advantage having lost the first matchup?
Somewhat, maybe. I mean, I think it's just an extra chip on our shoulder and just an extra reason to go out there with more aggression and more motivation. But, every game is different. You can't play every game the same way. So we're going to have to go out there. We're going to have to make our adjustments as the game progresses and just be within striking distance at the end.
How much do you guys, as players, keep track of what they're doing, or do you not really until they're the next one on the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, if A-10 basketball is on the TV, I'll turn it on. I'll pay attention to who might have won, who might have lost, who might have had a big game. But yeah, really the main focus is the task on hand. So this week it's VCU. After that, I don't even know who we play after that. VCU tomorrow.
And okay, as a viewer of A-10 basketball, how much have you been surprised by what's happened in this league this year? Just everybody kind of beating each other up, and a lot of surprises from the beginning of conference play.
Yeah, from beginning to end, there's been a lot of surprises. I didn't expect for us to be ranked at this part in the season, ranked 10th in the A-10 right now. So yeah, just it's really surprising all around, but that makes it exciting for me. It's wide open. Anybody could take it.
So as a viewer of A-10 basketball, what's kind of the impact that you've now beaten St. Louis, Fordham, Duquesne, the 3, 4, and 5 teams right now in the A-10, and kind of what that might do for you guys to show your capability on any given night?
Yeah, like I said, it's wide open. It's wide open for the taking, and that's just extra motivation for us. Gives us that extra want and just that dog in us to just go out there and unleash it and just want to go take the A-10 tournament and take the whole A-10 for ourselves again.
Were there some things that happened Tuesday that you kind of psychologically said, maybe the pendulum is swinging a little bit? I mean, Marcus Banks a 3, Jason Banks a 3. Some things happened that maybe we're going the other way other games this year.
Yeah, some big plays were made. I don't know if that's whether we were at home or because we missed Coach Mooney or whatever the case may be. But, we're capable of making big plays. That's all that means to me, is that we're capable of doing it, and we just have to keep doing it. Whether we're at VCU, whether we're on the road at St. Joe's, we just have to keep making big plays.
When you saw the first 3 go in, and then the next 3 went in, and the next 3 went in, take me through the shooter's mentality of what you were seeing as you started to, again, find your stroke again.
Yeah, it was a rough stretch of games. All the guys told me keep shooting. I mean, that's what shooters do. They just keep shooting. I know I had a rough patch the past 3-4 games, but yeah, I found it yesterday, and I look to keep it rolling.
What's the toughest road venue in the Atlantic 10?
For us, I would say VCU, hostile environment, and it's just jam-packed in there. They're loud, and yeah, probably VCU.
Any part of you respect their band and their atmosphere?
Yeah, big fan of their band, I will say, right there. They play some good music. I went to the VCU versus Radford game earlier this year, and the band was spectacular.